Dee, 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 dee. I should be singing a birthday song instead of the Manamana song today, shouldn't I? I should be doing a birthday song. Happy birthday to TT. Happy birthday to TT. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Get Organized Challenge Day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to clean up the place where you play. Welcome, welcome, welcome. La, 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 la. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's not as addicting as mana dee 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 dee. Mana dee 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 dee. All right, are we live everywhere? Let's check with Leanne. Leanne, are we live? Question mark. Can you see us? Question mark. If we are, if you can see us, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're here and that you are ready to take the first Get Organized Challenge. Beep, 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 beep. Mana, mana. How are we looking, Suze?
You are
looking good. I can see you and hear you on YouTube and Facebook, Leanne says. We are on it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Organized Challenge number 1, 2022. I am here to help you get and stay organized. But the first thing I think I need to do is we have a whole bunch, a huge number. I think it's 1,300 new people joining the Get Organized Challenge for this round. So welcome to all of you who are brand new. You will find that in the group of people participating in the challenge today, for the next 8 weeks, there are a bunch of people who've done it before. We have a wonderful Facebook group, Get Organized with Totally-Tiffany. If you're not already in the group, I would really recommend that you join because it's a great place to go and get links and get information and find out all the things. Or if you missed something during class or you have questions about something during class, that group of people, almost 30,000 of them now, have taken the Get Organized Challenge and they can help answer questions 24/7. So it's a great resource to be a part of. So I would really recommend you join the Get Organized with Totally-Tiffany group if you haven't already. So for those of you who are new, I'm Tiffany Spalding, founder of the Totally-Tiffany brand. And I have been teaching the Get Organized Challenge now for 11 years. Company started in 2003. We're going to be 20 in 2023. Wow, that's a tongue twister. And our goal, and my goal is to help you get organized. I think if you're organized, you're going to love crafting even more. You're going to do it more often. You're going to invite people to do it. And that is my goal. So I didn't start out as a crafter. I started out as an organizer, became a crafter, became overwhelmed with everything that I had for crafting. And that is literally how this company was born. I needed to solve my problem. And I found out that there were a lot of us that were struggling with organization. So thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for joining the Get Organized Challenge. Let's jump right in. So you all should have received a link in your email if you signed up on the Get Organized Challenge email list for to be able to download your Get Organized Challenge handout. If you did not, maybe Leanne could put up the link in the chat today. The Get Organized Challenge number 1 resource page, download your Get Organized Challenge handout. So I'm going to follow along with the handout in the presentation, obviously, but it's a great reference point for you as well. If you're new, I would really recommend that you start a file on your computer for your Get Organized Challenge resources because our Rockstar Assistant coordinator, I don't even know what her real title is, Meg Lister, has linked everything she can into the handout. So when you're going through the handout, I mean, I like to have it in paper so I can write notes and stuff. But if you keep a copy of it on your computer, when you want to go back and click on a blog post or a video or something that I mentioned during a class, everything's linked together right there. So it makes it really easy to find the things that you need and refer back to things. Print one if you're a note taker like I am, and download them for future reference. Also, I want to, Meg, the Rockstar Lidster, also put up a blog post on the blog. So if you go to the blog on the website, it's the most current blog, but it's the product grid blog. So for those of you who have been around for a long time, you know how valuable product grids are. But again, something you could download and just keep in your file so you have them for reference. We'll try to get a link up to the blog post product grid as well. All right, let's jump in. Let's get started. Challenge number 1, we call this setting yourself up for success, right? Before we even start organizing, sorting, storing, all of those things, we need a good plan in place. And that is what this first challenge is all about. Getting your brain around organization, knowing what you need to do to set yourself up for success. There are a number of reasons that goals and resolutions fail. One of the biggest reasons is that we haven't assigned ourselves, and they're listed on your handout. I'm not going to read the handout to you, but there are many reasons. The one that I want to focus on today is what I call the big benefit. And the big benefit is what good is it going to do you to achieve this goal, right? What we're going to do is we're going to take all of your goals to get organized and break them down into tiny steps. That's the basis of this whole program. But in order to stay motivated, you need to know why you're doing it, right? There's a really popular book out right now called Start With Why. Why do you want to be organized? What is the big benefit to you? And some of you might be thinking, well, of course, being organized, that's a benefit. But it's different than that because, I mean, that is one of the benefits, obviously. But what does being organized help you with? It frees up your time. It cleans up your space. It allows you to craft with other people. It allows you to craft more often. Maybe you have a spouse or partner who is annoyed with you that you buy tons of craft supplies, but you don't use them. And the reason you don't use them is because it's too hard to get into your craft room. And so part of your big benefit is that relationship, right? Of being able to say, yes, I'm actually using these. Look at the things that I'm creating. So really putting some thought into what is your big benefit and making it as emotional as you can, right? The more connected you are emotionally to that goal, to that big benefit, the easier it's going to be to continue on with the challenge. And it sounds kind of crazy, but it's just how your brain works. If you are new to Totally-Tiffany in general, there's a lot of stuff I talk about what happens in your head, right? And getting organized starts in your head, which is the whole premise of today's class or today's challenge. So first thing you need to do is decide what your big benefit is. And then we're going to make a little reminder, a big benefit board that is going to help you stay on track for each of the challenges. And that big benefit board needs to be posted somewhere where you can see it all the time. So, and it doesn't have to be this. I'm going to show you a couple of the ones that I've done in the past. It can be something like this. A scrapbook page is essentially what I've done, so I could put them into a scrapbook. It could be just something written and put up, nailed up on your bulletin board. It could be, it can be anything. It can be a checklist made on an Excel spreadsheet, right? It doesn't have to be fancy. So what you're going to do with your big benefit board, and here's a couple of them that I've done in the past, like I said. Oh, I can't pick it up. So you can see both of mine are 12 by 12. So I use them then as scrapbook pages afterwards, after I'd completed them. And what I've done is, what is my big benefit? What's my big motivator? That's at the top. And then there are 8 challenges. In order to stay further motivated, you need to choose a reward for completing all 8 challenges, your goals within those challenges. And that's what you see here, 1 through 8 here. What is my reward for getting that challenge done? Also really, really important. Now, rewards can be huge or they can be tiny. What motivates you, right? What inspires you? What do you feel good about? And it needs to be something you do for yourself. And for some people, it's as simple as, I'm going to take an hour, go to Starbucks, get a coffee, and read my latest and greatest Creative Scrapbooker magazine all by myself. Some people are, I'm going to go on a $50 shopping spree and buy new, whatever it is, craft supplies, whatever. So the rewards are different for everybody, and you need to choose your own rewards. And we're going to talk about getting the buy-in here, but part of my rewards on this first one were things that I was going to do with my kids. One of the things that's important when you do something is getting the buy-in or the support of the other people around you. So I included my kids in my rewards, at least the first 2 here, because it seems like when you have children, they don't want you, need you, or care about what you're doing until you try to do something for yourself, right? And in the moment that you take some personal time, right? Even just going to the bathroom, right? The moment that you take some personal time, they're right there. They want your undivided attention. And so my first 2 rewards, one was going out to play cribbage and get coffee with London. The second one was a ping pong tournament and pizza with Max, 2 things that they enjoyed, because I wanted to use them to be able to say, hey, I'm doing my organizing right now. Go play with your brother. If you want me to get this reward and play ping pong or take you to coffee, you guys need to go find something else to do. So getting that buy-in is helpful, and finding ways to motivate the people in your life to actually help you with the process is really good as well. So you need to think about all of those things before you get started, and then create your big benefits board. This one was an idea that someone else did in a challenge where they created their big benefits board, and they have the 1 through 8. And then she put individual envelopes, her rewards, in the 8 envelopes, mixed up the envelopes, and had her friend glue the envelopes onto her board. So she knew what the 8 rewards were, but she wasn't sure when she was going to get them or in which order. So each time she completed a challenge, she was able to get a reward. So I did something similar where I made these little cards and then scrambled them up, put them in the pockets, wrote the numbers at the top of them. And so I wouldn't know until I completed the challenge as well. So creating a big benefits board and assigning those rewards that you're going to get along the way is really, really key. And remember, it doesn't have to be something huge. It just has to be something that's for you, and it needs to be something that you will actually take advantage of and engage with, because it is good for your brain. It seems weird, but when you get a reward for doing something, it motivates and inspires and keeps you focused. So don't skip this step. I'm sure there are a few people watching today who have taken the challenge and skipped that first step and then gone back and said, and if you're out there, please feel free to post in the chat, I skipped this step. It wasn't as motivating. Next time that I did the challenge, I did this step, I did this part, and it really did help, which is another thing I should bring up. For those of you who are new, please keep in mind that your craft room probably didn't get to the state that it's in, or your craft supplies, whether they're stored in boxes and bins under a bed or in the dresser or out in the garage. It didn't get that messy probably in 8 weeks, so it may take you another time or 2 through the challenge to get everything organized, and that's totally normal. And we're always here for you. The videos stay up, the worksheets stay up, all of that stuff, so you can continue to work through a little bit this challenge, and then you can continue to work on those things later. But yes, most people do it more than once. All right, so how are we going to organize our supplies? My recommendation to you is to use the 4-section system. I'm going to go through the 4-section system right here in my scrap rack. If you're unfamiliar with the scrap rack, this is the product line that sort of started it all with the Totally-Tiffany brand. And you know what? I was using this, and I wonder if I put it back the right order. It looks like I did. Okay, good. So the scrap rack is this actual metal stand here, right? Sits on your desk at this nice angle. It has the wings at the end, commercial grade of hook and loop fabric on it. And then it works with 3 ring sections called spinders. So it's literally like putting everything in a binder and then putting it on your desktop. I'm going to show you the 4-section system in the scrap rack. You don't have to use a scrap rack. Obviously, I think it's the best system to use because it keeps your products visible, accessible. They're right out of your fingertips, eliminates the dig and search and all that. But you can use the 4-section system in pizza boxes and file folders and Ziploc bags. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. Once you start using it, you'll see how easy it is, because the 4-section system is built on the way that your brain works, and it's built on patterns that we already know, right? So the first section is alphabets and numbers, and these are all of the things that you use to spell words or create labels or tags or titles, all organized together in one place. So when you want to spell out a word, you can just go to one place and see whether you've got stickers or stencils or die cuts, whatever it is, they're all right there, right out in front of you and at your fingertips. So it makes it really, really simple to find those things. Number one question I get about the first section, alphabets and numbers, is, should I store by color? No. One of the things we're going to talk about over and over again in the Get Organized Challenge is storing things the way you use them, keeping things together that you use together. So when we think about alphabets, we think about storing them by numbers, because that is sort of, by color, because that is sort of the conventional wisdom. But when you use letters, the very first thing that you have to determine is how much space you have. So if you're trying to spell happy birthday on a 4x6 card, you need to see the size of letters that are going to fit on that card. It's not going to do you any good to see red letters that are 2 inches tall, because they're not going to fit on that card. What you want to see is what will fit. So if I'm going to spell it happy birthday and I want to write it in red, I can see, oh, there I do. I have it in red. But maybe I don't have enough letters in red in this size to write happy birthday. Then I'm also going to see the other letters that I have in the same size, possibly in the same font, in a different color, that might also work to write out happy birthday, right? So it makes it easier than going from color to color, looking for the same font, keeping things together, we use together in the way that we use them. So store your alphabets by size. Now, the other thing I need to say is this is a good system. It makes sense. It works for most people. It makes sense in your brain. It's easy to follow. There's no perfect system. Perfect, which you will hear me say over and over again through the challenge, is the enemy of good. You want a good system. You want finding your supplies to be fast and easy. You want to eliminate the overwhelm and the frustration. That is what the 4-section system is going to do for you. So there are little ways to tweak it. We're going to talk about those as we go along, what you're storing in it, how you're storing in it. But in general, the 4-section system is going to be the solution to finding the supplies that you want to work with. You also want to store things. So these are the Thicker's alignment guide. Now, this does have a 3-hole punch on it. So you could put it right into or right onto your scrap rack or into a binder system using that 3-hole punch, and then it just unsnaps at the top. So either way, I just have mine in this big long pocket right here, mostly because it's easy to pull out for demo, but you can easily put it right on there as well. But this is my Creative Memories Titletopia piece, right? These are things that we buy and lose. We don't think about them. We can't find them. They're small. So it's good, again, keep things together, you use together. I'm going to use these. When I'm using these, I've got them all in the same place. Okay, so not just your stickers and stamps and that type of thing, but other things as well can all be incorporated into that 4-section system. So first section, alphabets and numbers. Second section is themes and sentiments, A to Z. These are all the things, excuse me, that you craft about, organized alphabetically. It's going to be different for everyone, right? But, so here's what happens. People start thinking, well, I'm a card maker, not a scrapbooker. I'm a scrapbooker, not a card maker. It doesn't really matter. All this stuff is the same, right? So scrapbookers do birthday pages. Card makers do birthday cards. People who like to do home decor make party bags and place settings and paper hats and all of those things that are birthday related, or they're decorating wine bottles or any of that type of thing. But they all use the same product. So you can put your card making supplies with your scrapbooking supplies, with your home decor supplies. All of those things can all go together because they also cross over. Things that you're using on a scrapbook page, you could use on a card, or you could use to create a birthday placemat, or you're so special today, you know, around a mirror for somebody's birthday. All of those things right here at your fingertips, visible and accessible. That is the goal. So don't be afraid to combine different types of supplies because the themes are all the same. And it doesn't matter what you put in there. They can be chipboard, embossing folders. These are all different confettis that'll go inside a shaker card, but they could also be sprinkled over a table on a birthday, right? So combine and conquer, keep things together you use together. And that second section, themes and sentiments, A to Z, is going to work great for you. Now, I have unmounted stamps and dies right here in my scrap rack. If you're using something different, maybe pizza box or whatever, you could put those things that are themed right into your pizza box or into your file folder or into your scrap rack. So all those things stay together. I know what some of you are thinking. I have way too many stamps and way too many dies to do that. So I want you to keep what I kind of alluded to earlier. We're going to tweak our systems a little bit based on how much we have. So if you think about your 4-section system, in this case in a scrap rack, of your basic supplies for that. You may keep your dies and stamps separately, and then we're going to catalog them, and we're going to talk about that much later. So don't kind of get freaked out when you're seeing some of the examples here, because there are ways to tweak all those things so they work for people who are, Nancy, not so much, all the way to Gloria got a lot. We're going to get you covered, so don't worry about it. So whether birthday, camping, travel, all of those things together, all at your fingertips. Excuse me. When you look at big categories like travel or sports, people will say, oh, should I put football under F and soccer under S, tennis under T, Mexico under M, and Greece under G? No. You want to, again, combine and conquer, keep things together you use together. So when we think about things like travel and sports, we want a big category, travel. And then if you have airplanes and passports and, the signs and we love to travel and world wanderers and all those things, those might go for any trip, any travel that you do anywhere. So you want to see them in your travel section and then tab off the specific things, Mexico, Las Vegas, whatever it is, so that you have all of your travel things together. And this is multi-purpose. First purpose is kind of what I just said, the general travel things. So in a Paris package of products, you might have an airplane and a passport and a globe. Those are going to work for your Paris trip, but they're also going to work on any other trip. You want to see all of those things together so you use them when you can, right? Our goal is to use our supplies as best we can. And then you also have your Paris stuff separately, so you can look at Paris specifically, but everything is together. That makes it easy. It also makes it really, really easy if you like to go to crops and classes. So if you separated travel general from travel Paris or travel France, you would have to remember to look in two places for that, as opposed to having everything that's travel together. You can grab that section, go to your crafting event, and know that you have everything you need right there. You don't have to think about all the little different mini categories that it might have been separated into, because they're all right there. Same with sports. Major sports tab. Behind that, you might have football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is that your family is interested in, but all the sports things, again, together in one place. So that's that second section, themes and sentiments, A to Z. The third section is the calendar year, and this is where you organize everything together, but January to December in calendar order. The calendar year is going to vary, well, in general. One of the nicest things about the 4-section system is that it really is adaptable to your crafting life, what you craft about. And our crafting lives change quite a bit, right? So as mothers of young children, we are scrapbooking about different things than we are scrapbooking about as retired adults hanging out with our partners, doing other fun things that don't really relate to kids, maybe not grandkids yet. So the 4-section system really allows you to remove categories you're not using, add in categories you are using without reorganizing all of your stuff, right? You just, cars and trucks and things that go, that was a category when my boys were little. That is gone now, right? Travel fits in there now, no problem. So it's easy to just put those things in. Calendar year, everything organized January to December. Again, little kids, you're celebrating everything. They're making craft projects at school. They're doing all kinds of little parties at school, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Every little holiday that comes up, there's something going on, and you're going to have that section. As your kids get older, some of that stuff disappears. So you may have January to December. You may have winter, spring, summer, fall. You may have the first part of the year and then the holiday season. But what you're doing is keeping things together consistently through the year. Fall is a good example. People ask, why do I need the calendar year? Why can't I put Thanksgiving under T, Halloween under H, fall under F? And it's the exact same thing. All of those products are going to work together to create fall pages or Thanksgiving pages or Halloween or back to school. And if they're spread out through your storage system, you have to remember to go look for all 4 of those, as opposed to just going to fall and seeing the trees with no leaves and the pumpkins and the acorns and the squirrels and all this stuff, turkeys, they're all going to kind of go together. So think in those terms of combine and conquer. I want to see the most things I can see at one time in one place, And then I want to be able to, if I'm going to a craft event, just grab that one section and take it with me and have everything that I need. So I'm paused here in the Valentine's Day section because I wanted to bring up another point, which I mentioned a few days ago when I was talking about something else. As crafters, when we finish a project or when we take a class and we make a layout, oftentimes we don't use all those pieces that we created with that particular project. So I did a crafting project with our Sassy Crafters group where we made banners, and I had all these extra pieces from Valentine banners that I didn't use on my final product or project that I did as examples for class. But they're all still really useful, whether they're going to become a banner or a card front. So instead of storing them somewhere else, like partially completed projects, I've got these pieces that work for Valentine's Day, and I just put them right into my Valentine's section. So now, if I'm going to make a love card, or I'm going to make a Valentine card, or do another banner, all those pieces that I already created, I'm going to see them and I'm going to use them. Same way I would have done if I took a class where I did a layout that I didn't have the pictures for, that would go right into the section where it was most appropriate. Maybe it was a Christmas layout, and I didn't have the pictures that went the right directions, as that often happens at class. I put it right in my Christmas section, and as I'm working on Christmas pictures, it's going to pop up for me. I'm going to see it, and I'm actually going to use that project, right? So the more you can incorporate into your 4-section system, the more you're going to see, the more you're going to use, okay? So calendar year is that 3rd section, and then the last section is the rainbow, and the rainbow is where we put everything organized by color, regardless of what it is. So if it doesn't fit a theme or category in the first 3 sections, it's going to go by color in the last section. Now, this kind of freaks people out, right? Because I've got buttons and brads and bling and bows and ribbon and flowers. They're all in here by color. And this will help you find things more quickly and more easily. And it will also help you use more of what you've got. Because if you think, oh, I'm going to add a blue brad, and when you go to the blue section, you see your brads, but you also see flowers and bling and tiles and all the things that you forgot that you even knew how to use. Now you're going to use those as well. So it's going to max out. Not only is it fast to find the brads, it's fast to use other things, and your brain is going to be like, oh, I can do that, or I can do this. The other big benefit to this is, when you need a blue brad, you have to ask yourself, do I have blue brads? And your self says, yes, you do. And then you have to say, okay, self, where are they? And then your brain says, they're somewhere in your craft room, but it'll be faster to run up to Michael's or Joanne's and pick up a new pack of them to find it in there. This eliminates that. If you flip to your blue section and there are no blue brads, you know that you have a license to shop for blue brads, right? But you also know how many you have when you get here, what colors they are. You know, they come in so many different shades. What's the right shade? And everything's right there at your fingertips. So the 4-section system is key to getting all of your supplies organized so that you can, and that is what we were going to put this whole, the whole premise of the Get Organized Challenge is going to be based around that theory of organizing into 4 major categories, and it's going to stretch across everything. You will be shocked and amazed at how often that organization system can be used throughout your craft room, whether we're organizing dies and stamps or stickers and embellishments. In order to create, Susie has a question. Yes, ma'am.
Dana Walter Hill is asking if 3D things get smashed in those pockets.
No, that's a great question. She is asking, do 3D things get smashed in the pockets? So first I will show you, let's pull this out of this is, I don't know if you can see it very well. This is a little plastic box that has some funky staples in it, right? I just put the whole plastic box right into the pocket. And if you're storing things, so this came in this box, so I just popped it in there, but you can see it's dimensional, so you can put that in there. If you're storing things like eyelets, brads, anything like that, you're going to want to put them in a little Ziploc bag and then put them in a pocket so you can pull the Ziploc bag out of the pocket and get to those things rather than fish individual brads or eyelets out. If you're looking at more dimensional things like, let's see, like these. So these are cupcakes that have 4 different layers to them. So I don't know if you can kind of see that in the camera, but they've got a pop dot, they've got a foil, cupcake paper, they've got 2 layers of cupcakes, they've got some bling at the top, very dimensional, and they've been in there quite a while, not squished. Why are they not squished? Because the weight of the scrap rack is not, it doesn't push down, it pulls down, right? So everything, rather than if you stacked something up and put a book on top of it and weighted it down, that would crush things. That's not what's happening here. With that said, the way that you travel with the scrap rack is to pull those spinders off and take them with you. And you can either stand them up in your tote or you can zip them into binders. So that adds another little layer of protection. So it keeps your things protected even when you're traveling with them. So there is no crush factor with the scrap rack. I will talk about the scrap rack at the very end of class. So for those of you who want to learn more about it, there is more information in your handout. There is a scrap rack special happening this week because it's birthday week, and you get double points on anything you buy this week because it's birthday week. But I'll talk more about this product. So people who want to learn, stick around after, and I will explain the scrap rack to you in more detail. But here is one other thing. I just pulled this out, this Valentine product out of my scrap rack. And if I was working on it, I would have it left over on my desk at the end. And then I would have to think about where am I going to put that or putting it away. Well, one of the beauties of the 4-section system is you can just go right back to your Valentine section. Now, mine is spinning. I have my scrap rack sitting on a rotating design board, a 12 by 12 rotating design board. I only have it set up on that because it's easier for me to work with while I'm demoing. I mean, you are welcome to do that. It will fit on your 12 by 12 rotating design board, but it is not part of the scrap rack, and it really isn't necessary. I mean, most of the time, you want the scrap rack in front of you so you can flip through and grab your products out. You don't actually need to rotate it. It's just makes it easy to demo. Okay, so themes and sentiments list. Sorry, I think I saw something pop up here from Leanne as well. Where do you, she says, Neva Miss says, where do you have it stored in your room? Is it on a table or on a shelf? Great question. I have multiples of them. They hook together so you can connect bases together, which I have. That's my primary scrap rack. I have 3 bases linked together, and I'll talk about that at the end, how they work. Mine sits on an IKEA Kallax 5-cube system that is on wheels. So I have the scrap rack sitting on top of the Kallax, and then I have the 5 cubes underneath that hold paper storage boxes, and it's on wheels so I can move it around my room. I can talk about all of that another time, and I will. And I have one sitting on my paper storage cart. So if you have the Totally-Tiffany paper storage cart with the tabletop, you can put a scrap rack on the tabletop of that cart and have all of your paper storage below as well. It works great that way. And again, I will talk more about product at the end. So those people who are just ready to get rare and get organized can jump in if they don't want to learn more about those products. Okay, so that next thing you're going to do is create your themes and sentiments list. So this is my one. Last year was our 10th year of the Get Organized Challenge. So this is my printout from last year. There is a link to a printout like this in your handout. Again, thanks to Meg, all these things linked together and easy to access. Before you start your project, before you start getting organized, you need to know what your subjects are, right? What your themes and sentiments are that you're going to organize with. So part of your assignment this week is to create your themes and sentiments list. I would recommend doing this in something like Excel, something like that, where you can sort it alphabetically. And then once you get it sorted, going through, so I have different color blocks on here, different shades of gray, I guess, of things that might go together, right? So I wrote my list. It was all of these things. I put animals as a subject, dogs as a subject, cats as a subject. I think there's something called zoo as a subject as well, farm. These are all animals. Should they all be combined together, right? So this is your opportunity to look at all of your different categories and say, yeah, I'm going to put all the animals together, and then I'm going to separate them behind the animals tabs as dogs, cats, farm, and zoo, all in one place. So once you create your list, that is what is going to guide you through how to combine and conquer those categories as well. And it's also going to help you with your sorting and organizing. We're going to talk about labeling tabs and dividers as we get into the actual process of getting organized. But you need to create your themes and sentiments list so that you know what your categories are, what categories you're using, etc. You'll be surprised as you come up with that list, what you think you have, and then you start organizing, find out that you have things, you don't have things you thought you had, and you do have other things that you never even remembered that you bought. And so that's going to help you get all those organized as well. So themes and sentiments list is key for that. As you go through your craft room and start getting ready to get organized, you're going to want to start gathering things together. And this means looking in the trunk of your car, under your desk, stashed in your hall closet. Maybe you gave your girlfriend a bag to hold on to from the last crop or craft event you went to because you need to smuggle it into the house at another time, any of those things. So try to bring all of your supplies together from all the nooks and crannies. Now, when I say craft room, it's kind of a generalized term. Some of us have a craft room. Some of us have 2 craft rooms. Some of us have all of our craft supplies stored on shelves in the garage, or they're in rolling totes somewhere, or they're under a bed, or they're in a closet. So your craft space, whatever that is, when I say craft room, just think that I'm talking about that, not necessarily assuming that everybody has a full craft room that's all theirs. They don't have to share, which is another thing we'll talk about a little bit later, is sharing that space. Purging is an important part of organizing. We all have things in our lives, not just our craft rooms probably, that we actually don't need and we're struggling with getting rid of for one reason or another. There are lots of reasons. I'm going to tell you a story about my sister here. There are lots of reasons it's hard to get rid of things, but it is a necessary part of organizing. And it's necessary on a number of levels, but one of them is the mental process of teaching yourself and getting comfortable with letting go of things, right? So I recently did, not recently, be a year, I guess, in July. My mother and I went to my sister's house and we completely redid her craft room. There's some videos up on YouTube. I'll try and get some links out to them so you can kind of see the whole start to finish of it. But my sister had it, I think her room's 11 by 13, so good size room, full of rolling Costco shelves loaded with stuff. And I said to her, following my own program here, okay, you need to purge some things. And I go, you need to set a purge goal, which is what I'm asking all of you to do today. And she said, I love my stuff. I'm not getting rid of anything. And I said, well, you have to. Like, it's part of the process. It's part of the mental process. It's part of how you move through things and get kind of like, give her the whole spiel. I'm not doing it. I love all my stuff. I'm not getting rid of anything. And I go, well, you got to set a goal. That's part of the thing, Tease. And she said, I'm not doing it. And there was a shoebox on the floor of her craft room and a Crocs shoebox. So it was a fairly large shoebox, but still a shoebox. And I say to her, can you set a goal to fill this shoebox with stuff? And she looks at it, she goes, that? And I said, yeah, can you purge a shoebox full of stuff? And she said, yes, I can do that. If that's all I have to do, I can do that. And she ended up getting rid of, her husband has a large pickup truck, like extended bed pickup truck. She ended up literally getting rid of 2 pickup truck loads of stuff and donating it to the school district where she lives and all that stuff. But you have to get your brain around getting rid of some things. And that means you have to set a purge goal, right? Unless you're brand new to crafting and you just have 2 paper bags of craft supplies, which I'm assuming, I hope some of you do, because it will be amazing to start crafting in an organized way. You won't get to the place where most of us were, overwhelmed and about to give up. But in general, all of us have something to purge. And so there's more mentally and emotionally that's valuable here. So set your purge goal. Now, when you set your purge goal, you can set it by the inch, you can set it by the pound, you could set it by the age of your supplies. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I did do a separate podcast blog post called, I think it's called Purge Patrol, Love It or Lose It. I think it's linked in your handout. So if getting rid of things, if setting that goal is difficult for you, pop on over, watch the video, read the blog post, because it'll give you some different ways to think or consider how you might evaluate your supplies and what you need to purge and why it's beneficial, right? The next thing you're going to need to do is choose your storage tools and supplies. How are you going to store these supplies? Do you already have everything you need? Is it just in a disarray? Are you going to purge enough stuff that you have plenty of things? But you want to think about your space, how you're going to use it, and how the supplies you have are going to work. And then what might I need going forward? So obviously that is what we do. We create storage tools and supplies, organizers for craft supplies. So you have a link at the very end of your handout to the catalog. So there's a lot of things if you want to explore there, different products. And it is birthday week. Shameless plug there. So a lot of stuff is on sale this week. So if you're thinking that you need new organizers, take a look at the catalog, visit this on sale page on the website so you can take advantage of those as well. But you need to think about those types of things. And then you need to create what we're going to call an organized only space. And all this is an empty area, whether that's an empty area in your craft closet or in your craft room or an empty tote in your stack of totes. Because once you get your supplies organized, you want to be able to put them away somewhere where they're going to be able to stay organized. You don't want to pile them on top of stuff where you have to keep constantly moving things around, right? That's going to be hard on you mentally, emotionally, physically, and it's not going to serve you well in order to stay organized. So you need to clear out a space, make it empty, make it clean, make it tidy as you're organizing things. And we're going to start with paper next week. So it should be big enough to accommodate paper so that you can get ready to get organized and have that space available. And then as you're working through all of your supplies, you're going to be creating more clean, empty space. So you're going to load the first things in. Loading those things is going to open up some space. As you go, you'll just work in those segments around your room or your totes or whatever you've got to get things organized and get them all contained and together. There's a little picture on your handout of a IKEA Cube 4 system, IKEA Cube with a scrap rack on top of that 4 system. It's just a tiny space. I think it's 36 by 48, but it'll hold a ton of craft supplies in a small space. And that's a great way to get started. So if you need some ideas, there's some there as well. Staying focused is really important. So creating what we call a widget notebook or a widget list. What did you do today? Where every day you can just make a note. If you're a planner, you might do it in your planner. What did I do today to move myself closer to these goals of getting organized? You're going to do it right before you go to bed at night. And if you don't have anything to write there, you're going to go do something. Now, people get overwhelmed at this idea, like they have to do some big hairy thing every day, but you don't. So if our goal is organizing paper and you haven't done anything to organize paper today, but you need to write something down, it could be as simple as going into your craft room, pulling out your pile of paper, pulling out your paper storage box and saying, okay, that's ready for tomorrow. And then writing in your widget list, I set everything up to organize tomorrow, right? So 2 seconds, it's going to take you to do it, but you've written something down. Really important because it forces you to think about your goal every night and to also do something headed in that direction. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be something massive. What we're trying to do with Widget is stay focused and do this little tiny things, just one step at a time, and keep moving forward. And that is the key. You also need to understand what kind of crafter you are. Are you someone who always only crafts at home? Are you someone who always travels to craft? There's a link there to a blog post. What kind of crafter are you? Because understanding that about yourself and the way that you craft is going to help you every other step of the way in the Get Organized Challenge, because you're going to make decisions about where you put things in your room, what organizers you buy, how you think about your space based on that description of what kind of crafter you are. So take a few minutes to read that blog post and figure out who you are. And maybe you're a little bit of both, of two people. Like, so you might be Karen Kathy, or you might be Sophia Karen, right? You might have two names, but really just the awareness of what you do when you craft, how you do it, and who you do it with is an important piece of getting organized in a way that's going to help you stay organized as well. All right. Then there's a list on your handout of the things you need to complete the challenge this week. So you can go through that. So again, you're setting yourself up for success. That is your mission this week, to set yourself up for success with the Get Organized Challenge. You at the back of your challenge, you've got your challenge assignment checklist. Those are all the things you need to do to check off this week to say, yes, indeed, I have completed challenge number 1. I'm sorry, I didn't mention this earlier. We are giving away a scrap rack starter kit today during the Get Organized Challenge. So and the way we do that is if you comment in the feed, your name goes into a drawing, and then Leanne or Susie, who's ever on board, will draw a name just before the end of the class, and we are going to give that scrap rack starter kit away. We also do a giveaway every week, which will start next week, for progress in the challenge. And all you have to do to be entered into that drawing, and it's a gift certificate that you get to spend on the website. All you have to do to get entered in that is before Monday at 5 o'clock, you have to put up a progress post on the Facebook page or email customer service at totally-tiffany.com with the word progress post in the subject line. And everybody who puts up a progress post gets entered to win that gift certificate every week. So you don't want to miss out on that. So either join the Facebook group and put up your progress post, or send an email to our customer service with progress post, and that'll get you in the drawing, right? So this is another way we're inspiring you to get out there and get your work done. Put up that progress post, get in the drawing. So your assignments for this week, I'm going to put on my glasses here. You're going to create your big benefits board, right? Now remember, it can be something fancy like this. For those of you who are on board and have done the challenge before, please, this is a great time to post up your big benefits board. Did you do something like this? Did you write a list? Some people just have a whiteboard in their office and they just put it on their whiteboard. But if you can put those ideas up and share with other people what you did and how it worked for you, that would be great. But your number 1 step is to create that big benefits board. And I said I was going to check with Leanne here, and then I didn't do a very good job. Okay. You're going to read the 4-section system. Read the article, watch the video, whichever you prefer, or maybe you're going to do both to get a full understanding of that 4-section system. Read the blog post on what type of crafter you are to get that determined. Write your themes and sentiments list. Remember, that is going to be what guides you through the rest of the storing, and organizing that we do in the Get Organized Challenge. Take a couple of before pictures, right? Everybody loves a before and after. So take some before pictures of your stuff, piles of stuff, rooms full of stuff, closets, whatever you want to do. And you can use those at the end of the challenge to gauge how much progress you've made. But it's really, really fun. And please share them. Everybody likes to see what everybody else is doing and what they started with. And so this is a fun way to do it. The Facebook group is, trust me, your room is not the messiest room out there, I promise you. So put your pictures up, and then hopefully that'll help inspire you to keep going and get organized as you watch others as well. You're going to gather your supplies together, set your purge goal, evaluate your space. How does it work for you? What might you need to move around? And then create your organized only space. Create a widget book or widget tracking, or you might just do it in a planner. Again, you might just do it on your calendar. You might have a list on your desk. It can be complicated. It can be simple. Matter of fact, Susie, could you grab on my desk, sitting right next to the Cricut, there's a little journal that's down on the like flat on the desk. Yes. So I'll show you one that I've done in the past. So you can make one, or you can keep it really simple and just write a list. But it is really important for tracking and staying. So I just took a journal like this. This was a goals journal, and then I just tabbed it out. So I had these 5 major goals: product development, a new blog that I'm working on called Life in the Wick, my travel plans. This kind of got waylaid like many people's travel plans for this year. And then each night I just travel, and then food, friends, and finance, which was another thing. and then finish the house. I did as we moved into our new house. But every night I was able to sit down and make a note in my little planner, my little journal here, of what I had done to get closer to that goal. So it was a fun exercise to create. It was fun to put it together. And that also inspired me to, because I liked it and I thought it was pretty. And that's always inspiring, right? To look at something that's pretty, to actually write in it every night. So whatever you need to do to motivate yourself, do that. But it can be something as simple as a list. Join the Get Organized Challenge group, the Get Organized with Totally-Tiffany group on Facebook. Oh, I didn't talk about this. Go public. Okay. This is a huge thing for accomplishing any goal. When you tell people what your goals are, that is really putting yourself out there, because people are going to then ask you about it. And then you are going to have to tell them whether you're on track, not on track, being successful, whatever. So when you put it out there, my goal is to get my craft room organized and complete the Get Organized Challenge with Totally-Tiffany. Your friends and family are going to ask you about it. You should encourage them. You should say to them, I'm going to do this. I want you to ask me about it, because I think that's going to help me stay motivated, because I'm going to feel this sense of accountability. It's a huge piece of being successful with goals, whatever they are. So if you have a friend who needs to get organized, Susie and I were talking about this just before we started, always having a friend makes it easier to accomplish that goal. I mean, think about weight loss or exercise, right? If you have a friend that is going to walk with you every day or go to the gym or yoga with you, you are being held accountable by that friend. And so it's motivating. It's to get that thing done, because now you're going to let somebody else down if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So going public, getting a friend involved, really important. Put up your progress post or send an email. Talked about that earlier. We want to know how you're doing, and you want to get entered in that contest. And then last but not least, when you complete the challenge, celebrate with your reward. So take advantage of your reward and celebrate yourself and what you've got done. I want to wrap up. Do you have any questions, Susie?
No, I think we're doing okay.
Okay. If you do have questions, please feel free to post them in the Get Organized with Tiffany Facebook page, because there will be people there who might be me, might be someone from Totally-Tiffany, but there's a lot of people, like I said earlier, who can help you at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all over the world. I want to wrap up today's class, though, with a couple of quotes that are actually on your handout. And the first one, Albert Hubbard says, "It does not take much strength to do things, but it requires a great deal of strength to decide what to do." And that is true, right? It's once you start doing something, it's easy to keep doing it. It's making that commitment, thinking about it, and deciding what to do. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Know that we are going to do this in small steps. Go with your decision to join the Get Organized Challenge and do the things, and we'll help you move through all of those. And the other thing is something that I know some of you don't love this quote. You've heard me say it before. The gal that used to work with me, kind of my right-hand gal, Karen Slusher, I came down from my office to show her something or talk to her about something, and she mentioned in that conversation that she was going to go spend the weekend at a girls' weekend crafting. And I said to her, oh, I wish I had time to do that. And she looked up at me from her desk and she said, "Tiffany, we all have the same amount of time." And that quote has stuck with me like none other, because every time I think to myself, I don't have time for that, then it forces me to think about, how am I spending my time? Why don't I have time for that? Why am I choosing something else? And that consciousness of, okay, I do have the same 24 hours in a day that everybody else does. How am I investing my time? Am I spending my time? Am I wasting my time? And it isn't that you should always be investing your time or spending your time or wasting your time. It's that recognizing, hey, I'm going to watch Netflix. That's a waste of time. That's good. I'm going to enjoy that waste of time just relaxing and watching Netflix. It's not that you shouldn't do that. It's just that you should be conscious of what you're doing and what you're choosing. And then you will end up having more time because you are consciously aware of how you are spending your time and what you are doing with your time. Certainly, I understand that everybody has life issues, that choosing to spend your time doing something that you don't necessarily want to do is probably the best and most responsible choice. I'm not saying you can choose to only craft and, neglect the rest of your life, but it does make it conscious. And you will find yourself saying, when you think, I don't have time for that, of thinking through, well, if I want to meet my goals of the Get Organized Challenge, then I have to choose, am I going to organize my craft supplies for an hour, or am I going to watch the latest episode of Yellowstone, right? Just choosing what's more important to you and how you're using, spending, wasting, investing your time. So I know that's a hard one for people, but I want you to think about that in terms of, what are you doing with your time? How are you using it, investing it, spending it? Okay, that is going to wrap up the Get Organized Challenge. I'm going to talk a little bit about the scrap rack, how it works, and what the components are for those of you who want to stick around a little bit and learn about the scrap rack. I will do, at the end of every Get Organized Challenge, a little bit of a product demo on, usually it's kind of specific products to the class, but I'm happy to talk about any of the Totally-Tiffany products after we've done the class and answer your questions. So if you're looking for something specific, please feel free to ask those questions during this portion, and I will address different Totally-Tiffany products, whatever you have questions about. So I'm going to hop right in to the scrap rack, how it works, why people love it. It has been around, is our flagship product line. It is the product that launched the Totally-Tiffany brand in 2003. I will tell you one thing about this product. When I designed it, I designed it for myself. My craft room I was a dining room table crafter. I had to bring everything out and I had to put it all away. I had 2 small children. And the time I was spending digging things out, setting them up and putting them away was more time than I was spending crafting. And it made this huge mess. I couldn't leave it out because I crafted the dining room table. So besides having 2 small kids, I had to serve dinner on the dining room table. So there were all these issues. So I designed this for myself. It was very similar, the original design, so that I could literally pick up my supplies, put them away, and bring them out. And they were organized the same way all the time. I never had to reorganize things or that type of thing. So I did it initially with binders. Of course, if your 12 by 12 format, that didn't work well. Back in the day, there weren't 12 by 12 binders. And then it sort of evolved from there. So the scrap rack itself is this metal base. Right? It's going to sit on your desktop at this angle. The wings are what support the pages as they flip from one end to the other, and they add that weight to keep it from tipping over one way. So they're an important part. If you have more than, this is going to hold 7 of the 3 ring sections. This little slot right here, you can buy another base. It's called an expansion base. Link the 2 together with a Velcro wrap, move the wing to the outside, and double your scrap rack space that way, right? So you can use the same 4 sections, spread it out. You might have 2 or 3 sections for Christmas or travel or whatever, but you're going to be able to spread everything out and keep it organized that same way. With the wing back, see how you get that balance back. That's why the wings are important. So it's made of steel. It has a commercial grade of hook and loop fabric on the front. That hook and loop is secured with adhesive and also rivets. Each of the sections, oops, I just unlocked my binder there. Each of the sections is on what we call a spinder. So a spinder is, push the lock back down. A spinder is the 3 ring section, and then it's got the Velcro back right here, and that's what hooks onto the base. Susie, can you hand me one of those binders up at the top and then one of these down below as well? So there are a variety of different storage pocket page, and just one of the plastic ones, the zipper ones that's down here too. There are a variety of different pages. So when you look at the catalog, which you have a link to on your handout, and you get to the scrap rack section, you will see the different variety things, the different variety of pages that are available. I'll just kind of flip through here so you can see the different sizes are all in the different pockets. So depending on what you're storing, you're going to store those items by size. Like I said, there is a starter bundle that includes the dividers and 3 different configurations of pages with the special today. What's unique about the pages is, first of all, they're clear. So if you put things in the front and in the back, when you flip, you can see things on both sides. Each of the pockets has this little clear, flip this back, flap at the top. And that helps hold things in place. So you can see the stickers come up behind this flap. That's the perfect size pocket for that sticker because it's behind the flap, so it's not going to come out of there. But if you always craft at home, you can actually tuck your flaps behind the products, and then they're really easy to pull in and out. So different pocket sizes are going to work for different types of supplies. The pocket sizes are all based on what we're crafting with. So there's 6x6, 4x6, 5x7, all the different pockets that you might need. There's a pocket that's going to fit almost everything, including the 12x12 pocket. One of the key things about the Totally-Tiffany brand, if you're new, is that whenever I make something that is 12x12, it's actually bigger. So it's probably going to be 13 and maybe 13 and a half because I design products that actually fit the things that you're trying to store. So if you have a 12x12 pocket and your paper is 12x12 and a quarter because it has that strip on the top, it's going to be really hard to get into the pocket. So you're going to find that's even true with scrap rack. So all of the pockets, the basic page size is 12.5 by 12.5, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room as we're defining those pockets in all the different sizes. So they really do work well with the different craft supplies that you're going to use. This is a demo unit that I have here. So I don't have it loaded up like I do my regular scrap rack. I kind of have a lot of stuff loaded in the Valentine's section, I think. But you can put multiple things in each pocket. And it's more about what you're comfortable with than what the pockets will hold. So the pockets are made out of a food grade plastic. It's almost impossible to tear in going on 20 years. I have some of my original pages. The holes don't rip out. They really last forever. We made them out of that lightweight food grade plastic for a couple of reasons. The first one, of course, durability. But the second one was we didn't want to add a bunch of weight to your scrap rack, to your storage system with the plastic pockets, right? We wanted to keep those as lightweight as possible so that as you loaded things in, we could manage that weight as well as best as possible. So that is why they are made out of the plastic that they're made out of, the basic storage pages. Then there is another series of storage pages called specialty pages, and those are made out of a thicker plastic. They're designed to hold bigger, bulkier, heavier things, or they are gusseted or that type of thing. So the basic storage page pockets work great. Each pocket is going to hold between 4 and 7 items, depending on you and what you like and what you want to see. Now remember, there are tons of videos on the blog, on YouTube, that are tips and tricks about the scrap rack. So I could spend all day talking about how to maximize your scrap rack and all the things that you can do, and it would be overwhelming. So once you get your scrap rack and you start working with it, watch the starter videos, the basics, and then go into the different tips and tricks, and you will love, 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 love how organized everything is, how easy it is to find, but the variety of things that you can do with the scrap rack and the things that you can store. Like I was talking about during GOC, past projects like my Valentine's pieces, right? Layouts that you made that you didn't put pictures on, those type of things. Those are the kind of things you're going to find in the tips and tricks video. So you've got basic storage pages, which come in packs of 10, and you've got specialty storage pages, which come in a variety of different packs. And then you're going to have the tab dividers as well, which are these guys right here, right? And those come in packs of 5. The binders, I also mentioned. So this is the plastic binder. There are 2 ways you can purchase this. It comes as what we call a Spinder binder cover, and that is just the plastic cover with no Spinder, no 3-ring section in it. It is designed for people who already have a scrap rack and they want to travel with individual sections and individual binders. You're going to pull this 3-ring section off your base and put it into your Spinder binder cover. There's also the same binder that includes the 3-ring section, And this is designed more for people who want to create a separate binder. So in this case, I have used our, this is another specialty storage page. It has gusseted pockets on the front, big gusseted pocket on the back. It's called the Project Planner page, a big 12 by 12 pocket in the center. So it's a great way to set up projects. It works in the binder, also works in your scrap rack. But this binder I set up as a project binder for this trip that I did with my mom to Panama and Costa Rica, where I'm project planning, page planning. I've got all my mementos and all that stuff together. So when I'm ready to sit down and work on my project or this album, I've got everything I need for the album in one place. We are going to talk about that, I believe, in Get Organized Challenge number 7, I believe. But the binder can be used across with the 3-ring section with this binder. This is our canvas craft binder. This is designed more as the tool to use when you're going to an event. It will hold up to 3-ring sections, spinders. So that is going to depend on how fat your spinders are, how heavily loaded they are. But up to 3. You've got tool pockets on the side, tool hooks on this side, big pocket on the back. So as I was talking about in GOC, if you're going to an event and you're going to work on travel photos, you can grab your travel section, throw it into this binder, grab the rainbow section, throw it into the binder, load up your basic tools and supplies that you need for an evening of scrapbooking or card making. You've got this big pocket right here. That is going to fit your paper trimmer, which is always too big to go in anything else, so that you can carry it. Comes with the shoulder strap. A little backwards, I guess, but there it is. Now it looks like a paper trimmer. So this is a great tool to use in conjunction with your scrap rack as a way to take them off, go somewhere, have everything you need, come back, if you're working on travel, take your travel section out, put it right back in your scrap rack. So all the time that you would normally spend going to an event, or maybe even in your craft room going, oh, I need travel stickers, I need travel embellishments, I need this for this, I need this for all my travel that you put out on your desk, and then you have to put it all away. All that is eliminated with the scrap rack. You just flip your scrap rack to travel and flip through and see all of your supplies right there, right? So it makes it really simple. And then if you're going to travel to go do your travel pages or cards or whatever you're doing, you're going to pop it off, put it in this. So all the time you spend digging and searching, planning and packing, almost all that time is eliminated, and you don't have to reorganize things all the time. So that is really, the Scrap Rack product line is unique because it was really designed around how we craft, like at home, on the go, to weekend events. That's the whole premise of the Scrap Rack system, right? It's exactly how we as crafters craft, and it was built to address all of those things. So this week, the Scrap Rack is on special. There's a starter kit on the Totally-Tiffany website. Again, you get double points when you're purchasing. So you're going to buy the base and the dividers with that special, and then you're going to get the pages that are included with the special essentially for free. So it's a great way to get started with the Scrap Rack system. Any other questions, Suze?
I think we're good.
All right, my friends, I think that's it. As always, let me check and make sure I don't have anything from Leanne. Uh-oh, maybe I do. Beverly Ross says, oh, shoot, I didn't announce the winner. So the winner of the Scrap Rack Starter Kit this week is Terry Hegger. So if you're still with us, Terry, you need to reach out to prizes@crafterscompanion.com. That's prizes with an S, at crafterscompanion.com, and let them know that you are today's winner of the Scrap Rack Starter Kit. And they will get that out to you. Let's see. Beverly says, what pages do you recommend to start with? I would recommend the 12 by 12 page, which is called the Supersize Single. The Perfect 6, which is the 4 by 6 pocket page, and the 5 by 7. Possibly the 6 by 6, which is called the Fabulous 4. So those are going to give you, that's going to give you a variety of pages that really fit with the sizes of products that we're using most commonly. It's going to give you, and definitely dividers. You want to have enough dividers. Dividers support your pages, make it easier to flip from section to section. You're going to get one set of dividers with the starter kit. I would highly recommend adding another set or two because you're going to have more than 5 sections for sure. So if you think about your 4-section system, you've got alphabets and numbers, that's a tab. But then when you get into themes and sentiments, you're going to have, animals, baby, camping. You may choose to do major tabs A through D. And then when you flip that tab, you're going to find, just like a sticky note that says animals, baby, camping. You can do it that way as well, but you're probably going to need more. I would say you're probably going to need closer to 15 to 20 dividers when you're all done setting up your whole scrap rack system. So definitely those basic pages and then dividers. Aunt Penny says, how do you decide if a binder is full? How many pages in each? That's a great question. How do you decide if a binder is full? So the best way I'm going to try and find my fullest one here, is probably this one. Well, so the number of pages on a binder is not the determining factor for whether or not it's full. The reason that is because some of us put 5 to 7 items in a pocket. Some people put 1 item in a pocket. So obviously, if you put 5 to 7 items in a pocket, your pocket's going to be thicker than if you just put 1 item. So that means you're going to be able to get less pages on a binder. So it's more about the thickness of your binder. And the best way to know if your binder is overloaded is if you pop open your binder and nothing pops off, you're fine. And sometimes the dividers are thicker, so sometimes they'll pop off. But if none of your pages pop off like this, then your binder is fine. If you find that you're popping off pages, it's time to thin out that binder or stop adding to it. It might be time to add an expansion base and spread things out and add some more binders in between. That's one of the beautiful things about the scrap rack system is that you don't have to reinvent your organization system. For 20 years, 19, that we've been making this product, one of the baseline premises of the design is it will never change. Everything we ever make for the scrap rack will fit with everything we've ever made for the scrap rack. So a lot of, and why? Because like you, I'm sure I would go out and I would buy something to organize, and then I would need more of that thing to finish organizing. And by the time I got to the store to get more, they were out of stock. They didn't make them anymore, or they were a different size or shape and they didn't work together. That is why everything we ever make for the scrap rack will work with everything we've ever made for the scrap rack. You don't have to worry about that. You're always going to be able to incorporate the new things to work in your scrap rack along with your old things. So kind of a basic thing there. So you can add those extras. So that is the determining factor if your scrap rack, if your binder is full. That's the easy way to test it. And again, there are tons of videos and blog posts about tips and tricks, loading the pockets, how to do it, how much to put in each pocket, how to load heavy things, bulky things, all that. And it's all kind of spelled out there on the website. Leslie Day says, should we set up a scrap rack first or gather items by the 4 categories first? You're going to do a little of each in the Get Organized Challenge, right? So we're going to talk about paper first next week. If you have a scrap rack and it's set up, it's going to be a lot easier if you start loading it as you go than it is to make it a 2-step process where you sort and store things in the 4-section system, and then you have to pull them back out and put them into your scrap rack, right? So you're adding an extra step in between. If you know that the scrap rack is something you need, and everyone does, I'll tell you that right now. Again, biased, shameless plug. You should order it and take advantage of the scrap rack starter kit because it's a great way to get started. And then you can add to it. So once you get it, there are different page designs. There are different configurations. Once you start working with it, you'll have a sense of your own supplies and know, oh yeah, I need a lot more 12 by 12 pockets than I need 4 by 6 pockets, right? I need to order more 12 by 12s. I don't need 4 by 6s, or I need the 12 by 6s. I have tons of thicker stickers. Those are going to be good for me. So once you start working with it, then you're going to be able to choose the pages that fit perfectly within the system that you want and need for your particular supplies. All right, I think that's it. Questions answered. Scrap rack demoed. GOC wrapped up. So for all of you who are watching today, who joined me today, thank you so much for joining. We will see all of you next Tuesday. Don't forget to put up your Get Organized Challenge progress post either on the Facebook group or email it to us so that you can get into the drawing for the gift certificate for next week. Anything else, Suze?
I think we're good.
All right, we're wrapping it up. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next Tuesday.